You know, I thought it might be fun to do a video just completely off the cuff. I haven't seen this video yet, but we have gone over some of this Meidas Touch network. And let me just start off this video by saying it is no measure of good mental health to be considered well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. We definitely live in a profoundly sick society. How do I know? Because networks like Meidas Touch, which are Democratic propagandists, are very well received. Look at this. This guy just uploaded this video 2 hours ago and already has, I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can put it in frame right here. It's already got 226,000 views in 2 hours. And the name of this video is, "Wow, Governor Walz tears Trump to pieces in Labor Day speech." And what I'm thinking is, okay, he's going to tear Trump to pieces? Wow, is he going to blast Trump for being a patsy for the Federal Reserve? That would be the only way to tear Trump to pieces. Why? Because you can't have wars without a Federal Reserve. You can't have national debt without a centralized banking cartel called the Federal Reserve. You can't have inflation without the Federal Reserve. You can't have a military industrial complex or a prison industrial complex without the Federal Reserve. So surely Tim Walz is going to tear Trump up on the level of, hey, you're in the back pocket of the Federal Reserve. I doubt that, because everything that Meidas Touch puts out, or Brian Tyler Cohen, or Tennessee Brando, or any one of the Democrat propagandists, or Ben Shapiro or Candace Owens, or any one of the rightist propagandists, they're all shallow and they're all meaningless unless they're going to talk about doing away with the Federal Reserve and replacing the unsound, dishonest money system with a sound, honest money system. So let's see what he means by saying Governor Walz is going to tear up Donald Trump.
Governor Walz just brought the House down in front of a packed crowd in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He continues to be very good at this. Listen to it.
This guy has made it clear how he stands. He's sitting down at Mar-a-Lago after he got elected president, and this was his exact quote. He's talking to a bunch of folks at Mar-a-Lago. You're rich as hell, and we're going to give you a tax cut. At the same time, he was telling workers they get paid too much already. That's who this guy is. You tell me who in Wisconsin is sitting around saying, damn, I wish they'd give billionaires tax cuts and screw me over. Damn, I wish they'd take my health care away. I wish they'd underfund my public school. I wish they would make my job more difficult and more dangerous. And then at the end of the day, I wish they'd make me work till I'm 75 years old. No one's saying that. No one's asking for that agenda. What they're asking for is to be treated fairly with dignity.
Guess what else nobody's saying? Nobody's saying, man, I sure wish a politician would stand behind a lectern and whisper sweet nothings through that microphone into my ear. I will believe every word they say. And yet here we have another election coming up where millions, tens of millions of people on the right and tens of millions of people on the left are backing their political parasite who they know is lying to them. So everything that you hear coming out of a politician's mouth, whether left or right, is an absolute smokescreen. And even if they were talking about real issues that needed to be discussed, like, hey, we need a sound money system. We need to stop the cheap, easy credit. We need to put an end to the central banking cartel that is inflating our currency and diluting the value of every dollar that I'm out there working for. Even if they're saying that, they're lying.
That's what we have.
But they're not even saying that. They're not even coming close.
Look.
Governor Walz then talks about how Donald Trump has been running on the politics of fear. Play this clip.
Since the very beginning, Donald Trump has been running on the politics of fear.
Name a politician.
I know something about that. I supervise.
Name a politician that doesn't run on the platform of fear. That's what politics is. It's the clever and deceptive art of using euphemisms, lies, emotionalism, and fear-mongering in order to dupe average people into accepting and even demanding the chains of their own enslavement. Every politician uses fear. They do it. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz do it. How many times have you heard them say Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy? How many times have we seen Mockingbird media say that same thing? It's this fear. It's this boogeyman. We got to, oh my God, there's a problem out there. Never mind the fact that we created it and we've got to solve it because we have a solution that we had waiting in the wings the entire time. It's the Hegelian dialectic. Every politician does it because it's a recipe that works. We keep on falling for it. We're like Charlie Brown with Lucy and the football every single freaking time.
The lunchroom for a bunch of years. Fear is a good short-term motivator, but it doesn't inspire people. It doesn't change their behaviors. And what I did know about that lunchroom too is the bullies who want to instill fear, they're the first ones to find out what happens when the tide turns. He's running scared now. He's running scared.
Governor Walz then talks about how when MAGA Republicans are talking about small government, what they really mean is they want it to be small enough to go into your libraries, your exam rooms, your bedroom. Play the clip.
They want a government that's big enough to go into your pocket. They want a government that's big enough to execute a power and wealth transfer by, hey, we're going to give you free health care. We're going to give you free lunches at school. We're going to give you all these things. Government can only give you what it has first taken from somebody else. And a government that's big enough to give you everything you want is also big enough to take everything you've got.
I know. We all know this. I remember a time when Republicans talked about things like freedom, they meant it. They would never turn their back on our allies. But that's not these guys. Trump and Vance, when they talk about freedom, means government should have the freedom to invade every corner of our life. They talk about small government, small enough to be in your bedroom, small enough to be in your exam room, small enough to be in your library, telling you the things that you should make decisions about. So let's be very...
Oh, you mean like Convid 1984 by George Orwell jabs? You mean like grabbing my wealth through property taxes and income taxes? Do you want to get rid of my income taxes there, Tim Walz? You want to at least tell me you're going to, hey, on the first day, we're getting rid of American income tax. We're going to get rid of the IRS. You're never going to have to worry about that monkey on your back ever again.
Clear.
Nah, they won't say that. Why? Because we know who they work for. We know who the left works for, and we know who the right works for.
Where I come from and where you come from as neighbors, we respect differences. That's your opinion. Look, we're sitting here together, Brewers and Twins.
We respect differences. Okay, I'm not going to wear my ritualistic shame muzzle. Okay, I'm not going to get my Big Pfizer, Big Pharma Jabberino. Oh, no. You got to get that. No. You got to wear that. Oh, okay, Tim. All right.
Fans, Vikings and Packers. Look, we respect it. But on things like healthcare and what books I read and democracy, we all live by that very simple golden rule. Mind your own damn business.
That's a lie. If you wanted to mind your own damn business, you wouldn't be in government.
Your own business. Your Republican neighbors want to live that way. We have to.
Governor Walz then tells this story about how the Wall Street Journal reported that he was the poorest individual to ever run for VP. And then he goes on to say, well, actually, they then said that I had a defined benefit pension plan as though that somehow made me richer. He's like, I think every American needs to have a defined benefit pension plan. Watch this.
I saw last week the Wall Street Journal was trying to say, because they did a story, that apparently I am the poorest person to ever run for vice president. But then they did another story that said, oh, he's actually richer than his statement says because he has, and I quote, like this is an evil thing, a defined benefit pension plan. That is my wish for every American, to have a defined benefit pension plan.
And in this powerful message on Labor Day, Governor Walz talks about how Trump blocked overtime pay for millions of Americans. Play the clip.
I do say this. He does know something about working people. Donald Trump does. He knows how to take advantage of them. That's what he knows how to do. Every single chance.
Just Trump knows how to take advantage of you? Reagan didn't know how to take advantage of you? George H.W. Clinton, Hillary Clinton didn't know how to take advantage of you? How about Secretary of State Hillary Clinton? Did she know how to take advantage of you? Let's see, what's that gal's name that was asked, hey, 500,000 children have died. Was it worth it? And she said, well, it was a hard decision, but we think it was worth it. Wasn't she also a Secretary of State? Who was that? Madeleine Albright? Talk about wanting to take advantage of somebody. How about using the military industrial complex to off 500,000, 500,000 children, at least on the books, from the face of the earth? Yeah, I think that all politicians, that's their MO. They want to take advantage of you. They want to grab the ring of power. They want prestige, and they do it for profit.
These guys have they've waged wars on workers in the middle class. As president, Trump blocked overtime for millions of workers.
Tim Walz does not care about waging war against American workers. If he cared about that, he would live every day of his life to eradicate the centralized banking cartel from the face of the earth, starting with America. And so would Harris be doing that, and so would Trump be doing that. But they're all on the same team because they're owned by the same banking team owners. Tim.
Hell, why pay the bills? He doesn't pay his own. Why should we pay somebody for overtime? What are they going to do? That's what they do.
Governor Walz then gives this ultimate message of unity for those living in Wisconsin. Play this clip.
We respect differences. That's your opinion. Look, we're sitting here together, Brewers and Twins fans, Vikings and Packers. Look, we respect it.
Look. You know a politician is about to lie. Well, first of all, when he's opening his mouth, but he's going to double lie when he starts his sentence with, look, I'm a good guy. Look, I'm here for the American people. Look, we're going to lower your taxes. Look, we're going to make everything better for you, give you free health care. Look.
But on things like health care and what books I read and democracy, we all live by that very simple golden rule. Mind your own damn business. Mind your own business.
He just played this.
Then Governor Walz talks about how you should ask yourself, who do you want to lead this country? Someone like Vice President Kamala Harris, who's spent decades putting criminals behind bars, or Donald Trump and J.D. Vance?
Think about what he just said there. When has a prosecutor ever been on your side? A prosecutor works for the state and against the people. It's like the state of California versus Brian Young. The state of California versus Sadie Wilson. Fill in the blank. Think about this. She was a prosecutor. Do you want a prosecutor that works for the state, that works for the government and the oligarchy and the central banking cartel being a leader over your life? Shake some sense into yourself.
Who run to the cameras to whine about how unfairly they are being treated. Play the clip.
Who's the right leader for our country? Kamala Harris, who has spent decades putting criminals behind bars, or Donald Trump?
Putting black people behind bars for weed. That's what she's been doing. While she's lying and laughing about it on the Breakfast Club. See my last video.
Trump and J.D. Vance, who get up every single morning, run to the nearest camera, and whine how they're being treated unfairly.
By the way, Vice President Kamala Harris also spoke on Labor Day, gave a great speech in Detroit. Here was her message that you better thank union leaders and union workers for this Labor Day holiday. Play this clip.
Benefited from that work.
Gave a great speech. I mean, they don't even write the speeches. They're speech writers. They're high-priced speech writers, write the speeches that you and I pay for. They force us to pay for them. And then all they got to do is read a teleprompter. They're not giving great speeches. They're reading teleprompters. Maybe they speak well. Maybe they're articulate, but they're not great speech givers because they weren't the speech writer.
people, look, you may not be a union member. You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
Why is she talking like that? You better thank a union member for vacation time. For a 5-day work week, you better thank a union member, honey. Yeah, that's not placating, is it? No respect. Politicians should get absolutely no respect. Zero respect. 100% derision.
Because what we know is when union wages go up, everybody's wages go up. When union workplaces are safer, every workplace is safer. When unions are strong, America is strong.
I'm singing to the choir, honey. This is great. I got my talking points. Thank you, scriptwriter.
We know what we're talking about.
Oh my God.
Then she talks about what the true measure of
Ben is so gullible. Or he knows, and he's just continuing on this course of Democratic propagandism so that he can get his little paycheck. And I don't mean little paycheck. I mean, these guys are raking in 300 to 400 million views every single month. That's just on YouTube. That's just a channel on a social media platform that I'm familiar with. They're raking in at least probably $100,000 every single day, if not $200,000 a day, just in Google ad revenue, not counting the ads, the extra ads that they throw in there every now and then. These guys are making bank, and why would they quit? They already have their audience. They've already sold their souls, and they've already gone down this status road. And for them, it's too late to look back, because once they grab those finer things in life, it's hard to find your soul after that.
strength of a leader is. Play the clip.
But I'll tell you, I think that there has been a certain backward-thinking approach over the last several years.
So a politician is going to give us a less backward-thinking way to look at this.
Which is to suggest, some folks, to suggest that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down, instead of what we know. The true measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. Who you lift up.
As she and Tim beat Donald Trump and J.D. Vance down.
That's the measure of the strength of a leader. Let's stop with the nonsense.
Then she talks about how
A politician saying, let's stop with the nonsense. What's that like? That's like a sewer rat saying, let's stop with the sewage, man. Hey, that's what makes them thrive, is the sewage. It's the stink. They love it. They love piling it up.
Donald Trump intends to pull us back to a very dark dystopian past. Play this clip.
This election and our fight is a fight for the promise of America. A promise. I love you. And ours is a fight for the promise of America, a promise of freedom, of opportunity, and justice, not just for some, but for all. But what we know is, as we fight to move our nation forward, Donald Trump intends to pull us back to the past. But we're not going back.
We're not going back.
We are not going back.
We're not going back.
We're not going back. And we know what that would look like, right? So intends to pull us back, including back to a time before workers had the freedom to organize. As president, we will always remember Donald Trump blocked overtime benefits from millions of workers. Tyrese talked a bit about this and opposed efforts to raise the minimum wage. He appointed union busters to the National Labor Relations Board.
that you would even talk about raising the minimum wage. Hey, a paltry $15, $20, put it up to $150. Let's give people $1,000 an hour. That's a living wage, isn't it? Where do you stop? Where's that line? How come we're having to increase the minimum wage to keep up with the cost of living? It's because of the devaluation of the dollar. So why aren't we saying anything about the entity that's devaluing the dollar? And that's the Treasury working together with the Federal Reserve, which is the central banking cartel, which is liquidating and diluting the money supply in America. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the other end of it. We need to increase minimum wage, and anybody who's against that is your enemy.
And he supported so-called right-to-work laws. And here's the thing.
Powerful moments all around right there on Labor Day. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance not speaking on Labor Day. Definitely a snub to workers, snub to the labor movement. And Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Walz definitely coming through on Labor Day with powerful speeches. Hit subscribe. Let's get to
powerful speeches. So there's Ben, Meidas touch Ben, and he's like, hey, powerful speeches. I totally buy into Kamala Harris. I'm totally believing that a politician who's going to make a promise, hey, I'm putting all my money on blue. That's right, Kamala Harris, you're going to save America. That is just a childish, immature way to look at what's really going on in the world. And that's why I call this channel The Disturbing Illusion, because these people are truly trying to get you to buy into a lie. And truth is treason. Definite treason in the empire of lies. Subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com, if you want to support the channel further. Grab a hard-hitting conversation starting design from the store. Take a look at the links in the description. You know, I got Cash App, Patreon, and all that kind of stuff down there. If you really benefit from this channel, you know, feel free to support. Really appreciate it. Always going to supply my videos for free. Feel free to use them the way you want to, as long as you leave them in context. I don't really care. Remember, in times of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. I will see you in the next video.